There's a road in America that time forgot. They called it Route 66, the main street of America. Millions once traveled this road, chasing dreams westward. Then, one highway made all the others obsolete. This is the story of the towns it left behind. In 1926, Route 66 was born, stretching from Chicago to Los Angeles. It became known as the Mother Road, America's road to opportunity. During the Great Depression, it carried desperate families fleeing west. After the war, it became the ultimate American road trip. Motels, diners, and gas stations sprang up at every mile. Each town along the route built its identity around the highway. In Glenrio, on the Texas-New Mexico border, business boomed for decades. Travelers stopped for the last gas station before a long desert stretch. Further west, in Arizona, a strange roadside attraction called Two Guns thrived. It even kept live mountain lions in cages beside the road. In California's Mojave Desert, the town of Amboy became a true oasis. Roy's Café became one of the most photographed stops on the entire route. In Oklahoma, the tiny town of Texola served travelers day and night. Even in the quiet Midwest, Funk's Grove offered a sweet detour. Families would stop for fresh syrup, a rest, and a friendly face. For 30 years, this highway defined the American journey west. Every diner had a story. Every motel, 1,000 strangers' nights. But in the 1950s, a new kind of road was being planned. President Eisenhower championed a national interstate highway system. Faster, wider, straighter roads would soon crisscross the entire country. No one realized what this would mean for the towns along Route 66. One by one, the new interstates began bypassing the old road. Traffic that once filled these streets simply stopped coming. Motel owners waited by their phones for reservations that never came. Within a few short years, entire communities began to disappear. Glenrio was one of the first towns to feel the silence. When Interstate 40 opened nearby, the town's fate was sealed. Within months, the motel's lights simply never turned back on. The diner's counter still holds a coffee cup, left mid-shift. Weeds now grow through the cracks in the parking lot asphalt. Today, Glenrio sits frozen, exactly as it was left decades ago. Two Guns, Arizona, met an even stranger end. Its roadside zoo closed, and its cages fell into disrepair. A fire later swept through, gutting the old trading post entirely. Only a rusted bridge now spans the canyon it once overlooked. Locals say the canyon still holds echoes of its darker legends. In California, Amboy's fate hung by a single thread for years. When Interstate 40 opened, Roy's Café lost nearly all its customers. Its iconic sign kept glowing, even as the town emptied around it. By the 1990s, fewer than 10 residents remained in Amboy. In Texola, Oklahoma, the town's population dropped into the single digits. Its old jailhouse still stands, bars rusted shut, forever empty. The gas station canopy leans, its pumps long disconnected from any line. In New Mexico, the town of Cuervo suffered a similar collapse. Its church still stands, though no congregation has gathered there in decades. Once home to 300 people, Cuervo now stands nearly silent. Even in Illinois, Funk's Grove felt the highway's slow retreat. As Interstate 55 took over, fewer travelers ever passed through. One by one, gas stations across the route simply ran dry. Motel vacancy signs stayed lit permanently, a quiet joke no one laughed at. Family businesses that had survived generations closed within a single year. Children who grew up along the route watched their hometowns hollow out. Some families held on for years, refusing to believe the road was truly gone. But eventually, even the most stubborn holdouts had to move on. Post offices closed, schools shut their doors for the final time. Nature began reclaiming what the highway once sustained. Roofs collapsed under decades of sun, wind, and quiet neglect. Signs faded until their words became almost unreadable. Some buildings simply caved in under their own forgotten weight. Route 66 itself was officially decommissioned in 1985. Overnight, it no longer officially existed on any federal map. For the towns still clinging on, it felt like a final verdict. Tourists who once flooded these streets simply stopped coming altogether. What remained were only the buildings and the memories inside them. In Glenrio, an old diner booth still faces a dust-covered window. In Two Guns, the canyon wind still moves through empty doorways. In Amboy, Roy's sign flickers on some nights, powered by no one knows what. In Texola, the jail's rusted lock has not been opened in 50 years. In Cuervo, the church bell has not rung since the congregation left. These aren't just ruins, they are unfinished American stories. Every collapsed roof once sheltered a family's entire livelihood. Every faded sign once welcomed strangers as if they were old friends. And every empty road once carried someone's entire future forward. By the early 2000s, dozens of these towns existed only in memory. But not everyone was ready to let Route 66 disappear completely. In the 1990s, preservationists began fighting to save what was left. Route 66 was named a National Scenic Byway, protecting its remaining landmarks. In Amboy, a business owner bought the entire town to save it. Slowly, faded paint was restored and broken windows were replaced. Today, curious travelers once again stop to photograph these frozen towns. In Glenrio, preservation groups now protect the crumbling motel from further decay. Its buildings are now listed on the National Register of Historic Places. In Two Guns, urban explorers now document the ruins for future generations. The old bridge remains standing, now a quiet monument to the past. In Texola, a handful of residents refuse to let their town fully die. The old jailhouse now serves as a quiet roadside curiosity for visitors. In Cuervo, restoration efforts have begun on the town's historic church. Local families hope the Centennial of Route 66 will bring renewed attention. In Funk's Grove, the syrup tradition has continued for nearly 200 years. One family has kept the tradition alive across 5 generations. Across the route, small museums now preserve what the highway once meant. Old photographs, license plates, and postcards line their walls. Each item tells a small piece of a much larger disappearing story. Modern road trippers now seek out these ghost towns deliberately. They come searching for something modern highways can no longer offer. A slower kind of travel, a more honest kind of history. Every rusted sign has become a small piece of American folklore. Photographers travel across the country just to capture these fading places. For them, decay itself has become a strange kind of beauty. Local historians now record oral histories before the last witnesses are gone. Their memories are the last living link to these vanished communities. Route 66 may no longer appear on official highway maps, but brown heritage signs still guide travelers along its original path. Each mile marker is a quiet promise that these towns won't be forgotten. And so, slowly, the Mother Road begins to breathe again. These towns were never truly lost. They were only waiting for someone to remember why this road mattered at all. It carried millions of dreams, one small town at a time. And even in silence, it still has something left to say. If your family has a Route 66 story, share it in the comments below. And if this journey moved you, subscribe to Chronicle Harbor. There are hundreds more forgotten places across this country, and we intend to find every single one of them. Next time, we travel to a coal town erased by its own poison. Until then, safe travels, and thank you for remembering with us.